And that makes 5 street robberies in less than a month there. 4 out of the 5 victims are young women. Local 12's Rich Jaffe joins us live from Northside with what the community is planning to keep the streets safer. Rich.
Cami, police don't think the guys involved in this weekend's robberies are necessarily the same guys that they've had an eye on in regards to the previous robberies right here back in July. But the takeaway for people on streets all over the tri-state is you need to be more aware of what's going on around you and possibly consider doing this with these. Lunch hour in Northside is a busy time. But even at midday, with lots of people around, we found some young women well aware of what's been going on here and appropriately not scared but careful.
I don't ever personally feel safe walking by myself in general, but especially after these attacks, I mean, I'm definitely not going to leave out. I'm not going to leave the house alone.
On Saturday, 2 more young women were robbed on the streets of Northside. On July 19th, a man was robbed at gunpoint near this ATM. This surveillance photo caught the suspect. July 26th, 10 o'clock at night, a young woman again robbed at gunpoint, raped and forced to withdraw money from her account at the same ATM. Then July 30th, a woman abducted and taken to the same ATM. She ran and escaped. Monday night, the Northside Community Council talked about the attacks.
At the meeting, a group of men stepped up and said, we're not going to put up with this. We're going to do something about it. A handful offered to provide their phone numbers if anybody wanted to ride home or walk home during evening hours. Others talked about having a grill out in the parking lot where one of the crimes occurred just to have a neighborhood presence.
These young women told us they never take their safety for granted.
It's always safer to be in groups, keep an eye out, be aware of your surroundings. So we were kind of already doing that. I mean, it's a city, right? So you kind of have to be smart about what you're doing. So no, we're not doing anything different.
Dot Brunson and her husband Dana have lived and worked in this community for 20 years. Her advice for young women is plain and simple.
Don't be careless and don't be stupid. Don't be looking down at your cell phone or having headphones in your ears to where you are oblivious to what is going on around you.
Now, the plan to be able to call someone here in Northside if you want an escort, that's still in the works, but some people have already come forward, offered up their names and phone numbers, and you can find out more about that on the Northside Community Facebook page. In Northside, Rich Jaffe, Local 12 News. Cami?
Rich, the advice to not be on your cell phone while you're walking around, to pay more attention to your surroundings, is something that helps people everywhere, not just in Northside. It's important everywhere.
Absolutely, and that's the same sort of thing that I know you have told your daughters. It's the same thing I've told my daughter. It's the same thing that the cops around UC tell students up there all the time. It's really simple stuff, but it's situational awareness, and everybody needs to pay more attention to that.
For sure. Rich Jaffe, thank you. And again, police do not think the July attacks and the ones over the weekend are necessarily connected, but both suspects are still on the loose. Anyone with information should call Crime Stoppers, and here's that number for you. It's 352-3040.